with your host. Well, this is not really hosting right now, but this is more like an IRL stream. I'm just going to get some fresh air. You know, happy third. No, it's not Thursday. I'm rushing the time, guys. Happy Wednesday. It's just a little IRL stream. Day in the life of Dr. Chieftess Sunflower. Right now I'm in dentist mode. Dentist mode. Let's just sit right here. It seems like a good space to set up shop. For a little chitty chat. What's up? Let's turn this TV down. Alright, guys. What's up? This is an IRL. I just came back with my IRL. I just deleted the last one because I wasn't really feeling that one. But first of all, I want to just say thank you to all of my new subscribers. If it's your first time finding me live, make sure you go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Drop me a comment and let me know how you feeling. Chats. Live chat. Alright. Let me know how you feeling. There's been a lot of negativity in my timeline. I don't know if they just doing that by like design. Like, you know, we finna give Dr. Chieftess a lot of negative shit on the timeline. So this is me just saying, hey guys, let's continue to rebuke the negative energy that's coming for us every single day. I seen something this morning, and I don't even know how this stuff ended up on my timeline. These news anchors arguing about, well, you know, not Christmas. Santa Claus is white, Jesus is white, and I'm like, we live in 2026 where colonizers are still trying to tell our narrative. And I really don't appreciate that because there's been a lot of bullying going on for centuries. It's cold out there. There's a lot of bullying going on for centuries, and it's still going on. I see so many young kids just taking their lives because of bullying, because of what white supremacy has put out into the world, as if everything revolves around that. And my thing is, we have to get out of the mindset of allowing the colonizer to tell us our history. You know what I mean? Because they're going to always feel like, oh no, we're going to change it to the point where we're supreme and everyone else is shit turds. You know, and that's just not true. You know, so that's why I appreciate the people who don't fight real knowledge, because you can continue to fight real knowledge, you can continue to create pseudo knowledge, you can continue to do propaganda, all these different things, but the truth is always going to set the whole world free. Continuing to be evil, because in my eyes, white supremacy is like a knowledge that is full of evil. It's like an evil purpose. The purpose is to propagate Christianity across the world so that we can control everybody. And it's just sad because little kids are still being taught, oh, you should hate yourself. Not literally saying, hey, you should hate yourself, but in Florida, you have teachers calling the little kids niggas and things like that. You have these movies like The Perfect Neighbor coming out where a neighbor gets so mad at the kids where she's calling them the same thing. You have this used for bullying in schools. When you know who you are, you know, and you know that your skin is amazing. If you have the copper tone, Amerindian, indigenous, melanated skin, that's not a bad thing. And I think colonizers want you to think that your stuff is bad, your skin is bad, so that they can hype themselves up. Have you ever experienced someone who wants to make you hate yourself so that they can feel better about themselves? That's what's going on here. That's why we're not teaching melanin science. I should make a series called Melanin Science on this channel. I think we're gonna actually do that because I talk a lot about melanin. I talk a lot about white supremacy. I talk a lot about pseudo history, how religion is used as a weapon. That's the biggest weapon of them all. And I feel like when people first get introduced to that, and a lot of people are waking up to it, but so many are not, because religion was used as a weapon, right? And when you use that as a weapon, it's easier to trick people out their spot. It's easier to make them docile, to make them obedient, to make them listen, to make them just like fold so easy. It's easy to make them give up because you're using this religious doctrine that says if you're not a white male Christian prince, you're nothing. If you're not a white Christian nationalist here in America, you're nothing. Like, you're nothing, you know? And this lady from TikTok, I wish I knew her name, but because I'm in the IRL right now, I can't think of her name, but she did a dissertation, and I need to really find her name, where she discovered that 80% of black women, aka melanated women, aka American Indians, more than likely a lot of them, they're the ones who push religion. They're the ones in the household who was raising the kids 9 times out of 10, pushing a religious narrative. I know I was raised in a Christian church, and I've probably been shunned now. Somebody even called me brainwashed just because I read history. You know, so you gotta really be careful when you're dealing with people who are religious, because they're always gonna be like the colonizer and try to force their religion down your throat. And when you say, hey, I have some information that could change the way you think. Like, I have read so many books and the accounts from so many journals that don't agree with what you're teaching me. Don't agree. And if you ever get the response like, oh, I don't want to hear it, that's some hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil type thing, where you don't even want to read about it. You don't even want to investigate your religion, your teaching, and who's bringing this to you. Because my thing is, if a colonizer brought me a religion that had Christian armies because they were unaliving anybody who wasn't agreeing with who they were and what was in their book that they created, then, you know, they felt like they was in the right. Like, their God told them that they were over you. And it's the things like this that where I can't support it. I don't care. I can't support it. I refuse to support it. And I know that knowledge makes me unfit to be a slave. I truly know what that means. And that's what's made me so different. Like, coming from hood to hood, you have to think outside the box. You can't always go with what's normal. You can't always follow the crowd. You can't jump off the bridge because they jumping off the bridge. And that's me. Because for a long time, I wondered, like, I just wondered a lot. And now that I have the answers, nothing can put me back to sleep. Nothing can put me back in that slave mindset where it's like, oh no, if I don't follow the crowd and I'm brainwashed, well, motherfucker, let me wash my brain from all the colonization. Let me wash my brain from all the pseudo history, because that's what we've been fed to know, and go and do my genealogy to find my ancestors who no one ever told me about. Right here on the census and in the National Archives, that shit do something to you. You just be like, this whole time, y'all teach me about these slave raiding, fake ass, hero wannabe presidents who were enslaving hundreds of people, using the papal bulls and all of these pseudo charters, and just seeing you can steal land from people who are savages because they're not Christian, and we gotta make them Christian. And now you see most of the Indians, the Amerindians, the indigenous people here are Christians. It was the easiest way to break the spirit, even though you think you're getting a new spirit. Is really breaking your spirit down to the point where you can no longer depend on the greatness that's within you. You can no longer depend on our true creator. You're now believing and worshiping the white Jesus. Jesus was not white. So let me just tell y'all how Jesus is not white, and how that doesn't even really matter, to the Amerindians, because guess what? If people like Albert Perry have been here, his DNA genetic makeup is over 300 years old. The story of Jesus is only a couple hundred years old, not even 2,000 years old. Then you do the math. Obviously, colonizers realize, hey, if we infiltrate their spirituality, if we infiltrate who the fuck they really are, if we infiltrate everything that they believe in and whitewash it and put ourselves as the forefront, the future generations are going to be cursed. They're going to read from the book that we gave them. They're going to do the things that we want them to do, all because we know this one thing. If you break the spirit by giving them a pseudo spirit, by giving them pseudo knowledge, you're going to make them into a slave. Hence why they didn't want you to read unless it was the Bible that they gave you. They didn't want you to write unless it was, no, they didn't want you to write. They just wanted to write all these things down and tell you who you are. That's why it's so dangerous. That's why you have a surplus of people taking their kids out of school, teaching them their kids themselves, because 12 years in school is 12 years a slave. A lot of these kids who have so much potential in high school, and I see it every single day, they get out and they get trapped into the system. They get trapped into the hamster wheel of going to work. And parents push the kids out. They make them go to work instead of thinking like group economics. They think of, I'm paying my rent. You go get you some rent. You go get you some rent. And then it's all downhill from there. That is perpetuating generational curses. Don't kick your kids out. Maybe you should homeschool them so they're not being bullied and taught fake history. I enjoyed high school, but I feel like I could have got done a lot faster and used my life in other ways. But I'm happy with the journey that I had, because now I can go back to other children and to the youth and say, hey, going from high school straight to work is a setup for you to play your life and to play yourself. Going from high school and trying to move out and have that grown adult life, now is not the time for that. Things are different. Even when I was younger, it was a stress. It was a struggle to be a college student, to have rent. But I thought that this is what adulthood was all about. Adulthood really is about getting yourself some skills, finding out who you are, never letting motherfuckers break your spirit, knowing that you are not a slave. And in order to break the spell of not being a slave, you, not me, not him, not your mom, not your dad, have to do your own research. And if your family has not done their genealogy, it is a must. We can't even have this. We can't even begin to have these higher level conversations that we have on the podcast if you don't realize that to go from hood to hooded, you got to know your genealogy. That's just going to unlock the code so that everything else makes sense. The timeline will make sense. The history that you're reading will make sense. You can see the brainwashing. You can see the whitewashing. You can see all of the things, especially on the media, how they will get on there and talk about Santa Claus. Santa Claus is not even, really real in the form of America. But if you go over to the Netherlands, they have Santa Claus. This guy has a big cross on his forehead. They were enslaving the little children. They make the melanated children go and give the white kids presents. These are kidnapped people. So they highlight these holidays and these acts of genocide by, cleaning it up. And then once they clean it up, it's like, oh, everyone celebrates, so now we can get the money behind it. So every year they have you on this hamster wheel of celebrating the holidays. They have you on the hamster wheel of sending your kids to school to be put through 12 years of slave. They have your kids being sent to school to be bullied by not only the teachers, but by the students. Especially if those students don't have melanin, then they feel like they are superior. Just that one word alone, that one phrase alone, white supremacy. No, it's really white evilcy, And it's something that we just need to kill worldwide, because it's not going to go far. And if it does go far, it's only going to backtrack and uncover all of the atrocities committed towards my people. It's only going to uncover all of the things that was committed towards, us as a society. And every day we get deeper and deeper and deeper into the hole every day that we don't wake up. So to the people who are waking up, the masses, to the people who are standing 10 toes down, even if your family shun you and you know the truth, fuck that. I cannot be put back to sleep. Frederick Douglass, remember this. Knowledge make you unfit to be a slave. But if you don't have no knowledge, you're going to crumble and fall. You believe everything. You follow everybody because you were born into a certain... What you do? What are you doing? That's funny. You were born into a certain religion, so that's how I feel like I was. Huh? Oh, it's just like, wait, what? Anywho, so you were born into a certain religion based on your family, and by default, a lot of us were born into generational curses. Listen and hear me clearly. I was born into a generational curse called religion. I was born into a generational curse of thinking that melanin is bad. I was born into a generational curse of thinking that I'm from Africa when I'm from here and my ancestors' records are right here, and no one ever wanted to unlock it because this is things that they banned. This is knowledge that they banned. They banned you from reading. They didn't want you to go and read what they was writing about your ancestors in the census records. They don't want you to put together your tribe and realize you have millions and millions and millions of ancestors that come from this soil. Like this soil. Not no other soil. This soil. You know? And that's the world's greatest secret. That's the shocking factor of it all. You know? So now is the time to unlock all of that. Now is the time to stand on business, stand on indigenous, stand on your truthfulness, and don't give a fuck who don't like it. That's how I feel now. I just be like, I'm not finna pretend like I'm down with pseudo history just so, Lord. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm down with pseudo history. Man, that shit. This one too. Jeez. Lord. Anywho, I'm not gonna pretend to be down with pseudo history, pseudo knowledge, just to make other people happy. Like, no, we done trying to please other people. We're done trying to please the family. Because I know people who know the truth, but when they get around the family, they're like, well, they're not really onto that. They're not really ready for that. But it's like, I have to tell people in my family, hey, don't call me that. I'm American Indian. If you don't want to go and research our ancestors, don't get mad at me because I did it. Don't think that I'm brainwashed because I have more information about my ancestors. I have more information about history. I love reading history. I love learning about religion. Not because I want to be religious, just so I can unlock, oh, this is what y'all did. Even in college, before I came into my new woke identity, we'll say, or true woke identity, not just, oh, we're woke, Black power. No, woke, like, oh, y'all reclassified us a billion times to hide who the fuck we truly are. Woke, right? So in college, I took religion. We spent a whole semester going through the Bible and listening to all these stories, and it was so interesting. But I'm like, how did this got to do with like spirituality? Because the topics we're talking about, it just, it just confusing. So we live in a time of information overload where your brain can be led a certain way just because of who you're following, what they believe, and what they read. Or you can go and get this information on your own. Now, the 3 best resources that I could tell you guys is the Library of Congress. It's going to have all the books from antiquity in there. I have so many books that I have not even had a chance to dissect because it's just hundreds and hundreds of pages. You literally got to just spend your life reading the knowledge. That's how much information is out there. Library of Congress. Internet archives.gov or something like that. Internet archives or archives.gov is the other site. And the last one is the Avalon Project through the Yale.edu. So you go to any of these sites and start just to read the documents and see the evilness and how these people use religion to make their evil acts against us make sense. It's fucking baffling. to say the least. It's fucking baffling. It's baffling. That's why I can't read it unless I'm reading it to understand who the enemy is. I can't read it unless I'm trying to unlock a deeper level of knowledge. Now, on this channel, I feel like we've been doing a good job with unlocking the neuroscience behind who we are, the melanin behind who we are, you know, all of the historical documents. We've been siphoning through those. And I just enjoy just seeing how much knowledge people gather from around the world to unlock this. Now, the next magical question, guys, will be, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to talk until we're blue in the face? Or what are we doing about it? Or is the knowledge enough to create some type of energy where something is happening? You know, that's what I want to know in the comments. What are we going to do about it? What moves should we continue to make, especially when it comes to sharing the knowledge? Instead of propagating the gospel, we need to propagate the knowledge, right? Instead of propagating pseudo-history, we need to block pseudo-history at all costs. Otherwise, this can go on for generations and generations, and the children will be cursed into a life of rent, work, just labor, slavery, labor. The labor department is basically the slavery department, because before we were the heirs of the land. We owned this land. Our ancestors left this land. We tilled the land. We grew the land. Now we just slave on the land. A lot of us who come from poverty, who come from those generational curses, the kids get caught up in the sad lifestyle at a young age. A lot of us in the hood lose our moms young. We lose our parents young. A lot of kids grow up in homes that aren't their own. And you always feel like, dang, I wish I had the normal setup, mom, dad, just like that, in-house love. But a lot of us don't have that. A lot of us didn't grow up with that. So that's why I talk a lot about being the alchemist of your life. Because if you're not going to be the alchemist of your life, someone else is going to do some stuff and create a life for you where you're not happy, and you're just doing it because it was handed to you, because it was easy, because you didn't really have to work. But then you end up working hard as hell because you think that this isn't work, but it is work. Anytime you're trading your time, your life, your youth away for money and not like a skill or knowledge, it is a waste of time. Don't get caught in a fucking trap. Don't get caught in the trap, because it's meant to trap you now. Not knowing knowledge makes you a slave. So even if you're like, I don't want to learn that, then hey, congratulations. Welcome to slavery. Congratulations. Welcome to labory. You know, the Christian army has won. Yeah, the Christian army. Go look these things up. The Christian army. Why would Christians need an army? Because people don't want to be a Christian? So they're going to force you to do it? Until now, everyone just does it freely. I digress, guys. I digress. Alright. See, this is an IRL stream. This is not what I do in real life, sitting here like this. I'm just doing something different today. Just breaking out of the norm. But I'm gonna get off of here in a second. Get off of here in a second and just continue with my day. I'll probably be back later live because I'm in a live mood today. Some days I'm just not with the shits. And one thing I don't do is force my spirit to do shit it don't feel like doing. I learned it as I get older. I do what I feel like doing today. I'm not going to overdo it. I'm not going to underdo it. But I'm not going to do anything that just, you know what, today I'm in a chill mode. You know what, today I just want to have a little peace and relaxation. You know what, today I want to learn how to make sushi. You just never know what the day is going to bring. And that's how you should live your day, where you're not so rigid and stressed out. Just be like, that happened, it's gonna get better for you. Some days it's harder than others, and it's harder to say that, but you know. Yeah, I think that's all I have to tell y'all today. What's up?
Hey, you really want to tell them the truth?
About what?
That you're wearing my clothes and I'm the real doctor. Just take off my white coat, please, man. The gig is up, doc. You keep going on live. You tell me you're a doctor. The gig is up, man. Take off my coat, please.
The only problem with that is that when you look here, it says who? When you look there, I don't see your name. I don't see your name.
Now you know we made that.
I don't see your name.
We made that.
Okay.
Remember when we was in the back in the office?
No.
And he was like, "This make my office the degree."
Nah, what I remember is going to school for over 10 years. Bump all of that. That's what I remember. But yeah, guys, that's all I wanted to say today. Whoa, what is that? Oh, I thought that was a washing machine. That thing going crazy, ain't it?
Nah, that's me with the mop bucket.
Mop bucket. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, ladies? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, fellas? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, ladies? All right, guys. That's all I wanted to tell y'all today. Just a little light message, nothing crazy. So if you watch this on the replay, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Hello, doctor. What is the day's procedures looking like? Hope it's a great day with some amazing dental work. What's going on? Today is a light day. You know, exams, cleanings, a few light procedures. Nothing crazy. But thank you for the well wishes. I'm actually about to get off of here now. It's mostly like an admin day, which is not my favorite day. Admin. Ugh. So yeah, I gotta get here and do some paperwork. I'll probably come back live though, because I like going live. I like this IRL thing where you could just follow me wherever. Like, it's like, hey y'all, come with me. What we doing? Where we going? We going to IRL. IRL. Hey. And I like my little TikTok little holder because it can go anywhere. Like, I could just sit y'all anywhere. Like, it's so amazing. So this makes me want to do more IRL. Love it. Love it there. Honestly, I used to do IRL in dental school, which was a blast. If you go back to one of my first YouTube videos is from dental school, and it's crazy that this will make 10 years I've been a dentist. 10 years ago. That's crazy. That's crazy. So I'm not new to IRL. I was a periscoper. I just have to do more IRL, you know, and get out of my head. But yeah, peace out.